Selma, Dallas County, Marengo County, Chilton County, Wilcox County, Autauga County, and Marengo County. As president of the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated, I would like to invite you to Our Voice, Our Vote, Our Power, a legislative moment brought to you by the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated. We invite you to take a few minutes to listen to our members as they discuss with you pertinent issues regarding voting and voting information for the state of Alabama. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good evening. I am Harriet Foster, Legislative Chair, the Selma AL chapter of the Links Incorporated. Today we recognize National Voter Registration Day, which is a nonpartisan civil holiday celebrated each year. The collective goal of the members of the Links Incorporated is to register 1 million new voters by 2022. The Selma AL chapter is kicking off our local voter education and registration drive. At this time, I will turn it over to Abina Billups, who serves on the National Legislative and Public Affairs Committee, to take us through the simple steps of how to register to vote online.
Good evening. As Harriet has stated, my name is Abina Billups, and we, as the Selma, Alabama chapter of the Links Incorporated and the National Links Incorporated, are working to collectively register 1 million voters by 2022. And since we are here in the state of Alabama, I want to take each of you through the simple steps on how to register to vote, how to check your registration for your local elections, for your statewide election, and for your national elections. So if you would, always remember, if you're in the state of Alabama, it's 2 websites that you can check, okay? And the state of Alabama is alabamavotes.gov. Again, one word, alabamavotes with an s.gov. And another website, if that is too long for you to remember, you can always just remember vote.org. That is vote.org. So when you go to alabamavotes.org, on that website, you will see the Secretary of State, John Merrill. In that, there are some pictures, and those pictures say voter registration, election information, my voting information, absentee voting, upcoming elections, and photo ID. So if you want to check to see if you're registered to vote, if you've already submitted an application at one of the wonderful voting drives that has happened across the state, or in Dallas County where we are located, or the other counties that we serve, Marengo, Perry, Wilcox, Lowndes, then you will go to My Voting Information. You will click on that link. When you click on that link, you will just type in your information, your first, your last name, and your date of birth. Once you do that, you'll click Look Up. And that information will basically show your name, and it will give your actual street address. Okay? All right. So there we are. It shows that she's actually, it shows that her status here is inactive. So because we have an inactive status and there's a new confirmation mailing address, she needs to make sure that her information shows that she's active. That is something that we are running into in the state of Alabama, that known registered voters are being purged from the list. So that's why it's so important for each of us, even if we participated in the last election, to check to see if we are registered to vote, okay? We know what is going on across all of the southern states and across the United States with very strong and voter bills. Okay. So knowing your voter status is so important. Knowing to make sure that it says that you're active. Okay. So also, if you're out voting and you go to the wrong polling place, again, alabamavotes.org, .gov, is a place that can ensure that you are in the right polling place. The website is very interactive. They've done a lot of updates to it. But if you know that you have an inactive status, or you have not registered to vote, or you've just reached the age of majority, which in the state of Alabama is 18 to be able to register to vote, you will click on the link that says voter registration. In that link, you have 3 type of voter registration applications that you can submit. You can do an online application. If you would click on that application for me, and you will see that it's very simple. It should not take more than 2 minutes to do that application. You will scroll down to where it says begin the application process. Okay. And you will click on that. You will certify some preliminary questions. One, you are a citizen of the United States. You are at least 18 years old, and you have some type of valid identification. Okay. So note that a valid identification includes a driver's license, a non-driver's license that's issued by the state of Alabama, as well as a passport. Okay. So know that that is a valid identification. And you will make sure that you click the cash or the CAPTCHA, and you will begin the voter registration application process. You'll click on that, and you just will follow what it states. Very simple. You'll put your name in, your last name, your date of birth. If you have your your identification, you will put that particular number in, and you will provide the last 4 digits of your social security number, and you'll just press continue. So we're going to let her put in her pertinent information and come back so that we can do the application online. Okay. Now you would continue, and you would put your county of residence, your street address. So if you're here in Dallas County, you would make sure you click Dallas County. You would put your actual street address, your street information. And some of us that live in Dallas County have physical street addresses, but then we have mailing addresses because we live on county roads, right? And you put that information in if it's pertinent to you. And scroll on down. A phone number and an email. I think that that's very important now, because we know many of us are getting away from paper, if you will. So being able to receive information from the Secretary of State office via email is good. And then you'll hit continue. So if you hit continue, let's see what happens. She's going to go off screen to continue to fill that information out. And then she'll come back so that we can go to the next screen, because there are some certifying boxes that you need to make sure that you check as you're filling out the application. And thank you guys for taking this time to be with us and to go through this registration. So you would deal with your demographics. If you're male or female, your race or ethnicity, and where you're born. You have to give that information, because again, all of this is certifying from that very first question, are you a citizen? Okay. And you would put your place in, where you're born, your county, the city, and the state, as well as the country, and then you would hit continue. So if you would go off screen, Danny, so that you can do that and go to the next page. And at the top, your identity, as you see, it says your identity, your contact information, your demographics. And if you registered before, but it says that her status is inactive, she would then make sure in that if there's some previous information where she lived previously, she would provide that information so that they can just do a cross balance check and ensure that she is who she is and get the roster updated with her current information. So when she comes back, we'll continue to the next tab. Again, thank you for being with us. And so in that tab, the previous information, if you know that there's some previous information, again, you would just put, let's just say you got married or you had a name change, or again, you stayed at another residence. You would just put that previous information in. If there's no previous information, you won't have to put that in, and you just hit continue. So hit continue. And this entire process should take no more than 3 minutes from start to finish, especially if you know your information. Just because we're in this virtual world right now, having to go off screen, come on screen, it's taking a little longer. But when it's you and you're assisting someone else, it should be very quick. As long as you have all of your correct information, as long as you know your driver's license or identification card number, your address, and at the end there's some eligibility questions, basically where you'll confirm all the information, and then you just have to type your full name out. And once you do that, you submit the application and you're done. So that's the online application. Then if you go back to Alabama votes.gov, if you don't want to sit and submit the application online, there is a fillable PDF. And in that fillable PDF, it's the exact same process. You can fill that information out. And once you submit the application, you hit print and you have a confirmation. And it gives you the number to the Dallas County Board of Registrars and the actual mailing address. And you kind of always want to keep the Dallas County Board of Registrars or your county's Board of Registrars number handy. It's a very good number to keep handy, especially if you're out, you are at a voting location, or you have some questions and or concerns about some voting misappropriation that you see, that you experience, or other people experience. And that number is a good number to have on hand. Okay. So as I expressed, there is a fillable PDF form, which basically is the paper form that if we were in person and I was able to give you the paper, it's just the fillable form that's online. It's not the online version, but it's a fillable form. It's the exact same thing. It was the same process. You would fill it out, but the only difference would be is you would print it off. And when you print it off, you would then mail it to your county's Board of Registrars. And I think Danielle is going to show us that. You're going to click on voter registration again, fillable PDF. It will pop up. You'll go through the process, which is the exact same process that we did in the online application. You would tick off and put your information in, and you would sign it. You must sign the document. Once you print it off, you must sign it. That's what is different when you fill out the PDF version. You must sign it. If it is not signed, it will not be processed. You must sign and date it, and you will send it to the Board of Registrars based on your county. And it provides the addresses on that form there. And you will print it off. After you fill it out, sign it, and submit in the mail. and you must put a first class postage stamp on it. So the good thing about filling out online is you don't have to pay postage and it's instant. And remember that in the state of Alabama, you have 15 days before an election. So as long as your application is received 15 days before the election, you will be registered to vote. Okay? So, if you go back to voter registration, just so that we can make sure that we complete all of the different ways to register to vote, the other is you can request them to mail you a form. Okay. So you have the online registration, you have the PDF that you can fill out and print out, or you can request them to mail you an application. However, the fillable PDF is the actual application. So it's somewhat redundant, but we understand that some people might want to do things their way. Okay. And you just will fill it out, basically your name, address, as such. Okay. If you want to see the upcoming elections, you can click on the upcoming election dates and it will provide you the upcoming elections that are coming up in the state of Alabama and the local elections and the election cycle calendar. So if you would click on upcoming elections, and you will see that District 63 has a special primary election coming up on October the 19th. And then you have some other special primary elections and runoffs that are coming up in November and December. And then you're going into the election year of 2022, where there are some primary elections for 2022, some runoffs, and then the general election for 2022. And then there are some local elections that are coming up that do not play into the Dallas County, Black Belt counties that we serve. Absentee voting. There's sometimes some of us are not able to make it to the actual poll because of, sickness or not, with COVID. So you can do absentee voting. You click on the link for absentee voting and you must follow the guidelines and you can request an absentee ballot. You must make sure that you follow the ballot as it states right there. So I don't know if you would click on that. And when you request the absentee ballot, it has it per the county. Again, we live in Dallas County. So you'll click the absentee ballot application and you must fill this out and it must be notarized and certified appropriately. You must make sure that everything is checked correctly or your ballot will be spoiled and you don't want your absentee ballot to be spoiled. Okay. And spoil basically means that it will not be accepted once the election, they are certifying the votes. In the county of Dallas, I serve on the Dallas County Executive Committee, and I am one of the counters of the absentee ballots. And I certify the election after the election. And this, if this is not filled out correctly and it's challenged, it could be spoiled. So you must make sure that you fill this absentee ballot out and you certify it correctly and it's sitting back in a timely manner. And it just tells you everything that is acceptable for an absentee ballot. Okay. If you would go back, again, you find your county and you can track. Thank you. You can track the status of your absentee ballot if it has been received. So once you submit it and you take it to your county boards of registrars, if it is a county election or statewide election, if it's municipal, you take it to your municipal clerk's office. Okay. And you have to make sure still with the absentee voting, you have to follow the eligibility. You still have to be 18, registered to vote, and you have to follow the eligibility requirements. Okay. And Alabama at times will give, because of COVID in the last election, there were some early voting days. So you have to pay attention if there will be any early voting days in the upcoming elections. Well, I just want to say thank you for spending your evening with us with the SOMA chapter of the Links Incorporated. For more information on what we discussed tonight, you can check out our website, selmalinks.org, and it will be linked to alabamavotes.org. And if you're not from the state of Alabama and you're taking this legislative moment with us, you can also check out vote.org. On vote.org, whatever state you are in, you would be able to check your status the exact same way. And in the state of Alabama, remember, you have 15 days to register before an election. So if you need to register to vote and your status is inactive or if you never registered, 15 days prior to an election, you can submit your online application, take a printed copy of the application and hand it in, or mail it in, and it has to be postmarked 15 days. If there's any other questions, our legislative chair, Harriet Foster, in the Selma chapter of the Links Incorporated, would be glad to assist anyone who needs assistance in helping us to collectively reach our 1 million new registrations collectively within the Links Incorporated. Thank you for your time. I hope the information that we have walked you through today would prove to be valuable, and we look forward for each of you being registered and proud voters. Thank you.
Lines for Alabama voting are: in person 15 days before Election Day, by mail postmark 15 days before Election Day, online 15 days before Election Day.